Hello there. This is Raising the Cane.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I thought it was the Bob Hope show.
Oh man, don't talk about Bob Hope. We love Bob Hope. Well, he's been
Well,
gone.
you don't love
Yeah.
him more than me.
Well, I heard he had hope.
Keep hope
You
alive.
guys.
I'll be lying.
It
But
didn't help him
anyway,
though. Ultimately,
no, no. At some point, you gotta go. Gotta go.
it's
So
true.
anyway, uh, how you doing, Sandra?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be with you guys
Yay!
today and with everybody.
That's good.
Yeah. And
That's
happy
good.
belated Mother's Day.
Thank you. And to all the mothers that are listening, we also extend our congratulations to wonderful energy, which brought in all of us on Earth.
Exactly. And and we don't mean mothers in the Samuel Jackson sense. We mean in the regular way.
Thank you. Okay.
Just for clarification.
We don't need
Yes.
clarification because this is a G-rated show. Well, actually, PG-17.
It's
So
actually, I thought it was like zero G because we're going to be talking about space, right?
yeah, zero G. You're funny today.
Yeah.
It's about time, not just funny looking. Okay. All
Oh, thank
right.
you, Mr. Northern Lights.
Okay. Okay.
You guys.
Hey, at least I can see where I'm going.
It's true.
Okay. So anyway, but let's talk about planetoid K2-18b. And so that it was in the news that they discovered the JWST, which is a James Webb Space Telescope, discovered potential planet like Earth, 2.6 times uh, the size of the Earth, and that may be have habitable with oceans potentially. I know potentially. So I thought that was interesting. I
It's
want to
very interesting.
delve in the world of astronomy and some degree of faith and belief too. I mean, impacts here. And what if there is life on this planet or was life? How would that change our worldview, our spiritual worldview too? From agnostic to religious point of view. Um, Let me throw that out there. What do you think?
It shouldn't change anything. I mean, to me, if we exist, there's hundreds and hundreds of galaxies. And what makes us believe that we're the only ones? To me, it will be, I mean, it's expected. It to me, I mean, if there's many galaxies that we haven't even been able to go physically, imagine what it is out there.
I really wanted to say where no man has gone before, a person, but
Like
Isn't
Star
that
Trek.
trademark? Is that
yeah,
trademark?
I don't know.
Don't
Like
get me
Star
in
Trek,
trouble.
we're covered. Like what Star Trek. Hello, but they did
Fair
change it
use.
though. No person because they want to be sexist, so they stopped saying man, but they meant man as far as mankind. But back to the story. What do you think, Maurice, about?
Yeah, actually, you stole my thunder when it came to the use of man because it refers to the species.
Right.
Mhm.
Um, because it's like kangaroo. You don't have to say kangaroo s.
Yeah, just one
But
step ahead of you. Go ahead.
you're a lion. Um, I think that as Sandra said, it doesn't necessarily have any impact on faith or spirituality or metaphysics if you have habitable worlds like the aforementioned planetoid and the establishment of the existence of extraterrestrial uh, organisms, um, because it doesn't invalidate Genesis or the Trinity or today's
And when I raised
birthday
that
of the.
point, when I raised that point, it was in the context of not just your opinion, but how you would see that would be uh, the general public or certain segments of the public's view. How would that impact? Which it's out there. There's people from one extreme to the other to they don't think they believe in anything, how would this, you think, impact the viewpoint of these different groups?
Well, I think if you're already coming in from different atheistic or agnostic aspects, it may not change anything. And if you're, let's say, a mainstream believer in a supreme being or universal intellect, nothing that is in any of the world's religious texts would preclude the existence of other planets with life forms on them. Because I mean, you just look at whether you're looking at the Bible, you look at the Upanishads, you look at the Quran, or any other scripture that exists. It's not like some universal hermeneutics about life in the entire universe. It just focuses upon Earth, really. And well, I mean, and technically speaking, if you're looking at the Greeks, Olympus, or if you're looking at the Egyptians, their sacred city of Heliopolis. But it doesn't preclude that there's other places out there, light years away, that have life forms. Now, when you talk about life, that could be anything from a unicellular organism like a amoeba to something that we might envision from our own science fiction and fantasy programs, whether
Mhm.
hostile, like the
Right.
Klingons before the treaty with the United Federation of Planets, or the Romulans, also from Star Trek, or the Martians that from Mars Attacks, or H.G. Wells' uh, uh, novel. So and I think when people talk about life, they're imagining something sentient and ambulatory and probably technologically advanced, whether it's benevolent or malign, whether it wants to assist us or conquer us, or in the case of to serve man, to pretend to be humanitarian and philanthropic, but in reality, they just want to eat us.
Yeah,
Or
go ahead, Sandra.
no,
Go ahead. Let's let Sandra talk.
or they want to feed into the energy that you emanate according to all the drama, all the chaos that it's in the world. Sometimes you wonder um, why there's so much suffering, why we have a benevolent energy that loves and represents love will want somebody to suffer. So you never know. There's so many unknowns. Why is it that so much suffering that can cause probably some energies that we don't know that they're feeding off?
Now, it's a good.
Now it could be like fantasy on some of the movies that we see, but who knows? Who knows what the truth
No,
is?
yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
point.
sure.
Both of you have good points, but this is the way I was thinking about it, especially hearing your opinions, viewpoints here. The word extraterrestrial. What after we discover, okay, there's life on this planet or whatever planet, and I want to get into my part B plan of this conversation as far as I'm not a scientist, but I know there's that dispute what detects if there's life. And some say if there's carbon dioxide, CO2, and methane, that is an indicator that there was some form of life. And then other people on the other spectrum said that uh, no, you don't have to have those two chemicals or compounds to identify if there was life or not. So yes, it's a yes or no. So, but back to extraterrestrial. What if we're the extraterrestrials? What if that was the first planet and we were the second planet? Can you imagine?
Hmm,
Can you
that's
imagine?
interesting.
We're looking at a telescope looking at them. They're looking at a bigger telescope looking at, hey, they discovered we exist now. Now,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say that would definitely impact the religious the agnostic, atheists, everybody on this planet, if we were considered the extraterrestrial.
I think so.
Well, isn't that in the Bible they talk about these giants that came in, and in Genesis it apparently states that they have created in our image, so which implies that there are many that created, not just one God. But anyway, there's a lot of information out there that that says that there were these giants that came into Earth, and they wanted gold. And the Unanakis, I believe that's what it is, the Unanakis, and they needed the gold for their planet, and they came and they mixed their DNA with the inhabitants here on Earth, which created the existing human beings. And that's why in our strand DNA, there's an extra that they don't know what it is. And that's why they put it into, they have excluded it into the extra. So, I was reading into that, but again, this is what.
Well, there's various beliefs, and I know Maurice, you're the historian here. I know you well read about the different belief systems, and we've heard, and Sandra just mentioned her own different belief systems out there. I think, obviously the people that support already that there's life in outer space out there in all these near or far galaxies, obviously it would support their cause, their position. Yeah, I told you there was life out there. And I think it would just rock the world if we find out that
Yes, definitely.
we weren't necessarily the first and or the only. I mean, I think that would shatter. I think the churches would be flooded with people at that point, and especially you're quoting a Twilight Zone episode to serve man, and you know what? I have mixed feelings. Okay, Sandra already kind of said where she was going if aliens made it known that they exist and they came here. But you and I watch a lot of sci-fi and grew up on horror films, so I would, and especially after watching The Served Man, that would be our new Bible, saying these if they came in a mothership as big as the Forum or the Staples Center or some Madison Square Garden, and it's hovering over you, I don't know if I would accept that as just friendly.
I would order it to be shut down.
And well, I wouldn't necessarily be the first one to shoot either, because they may have something 10 times as powerful as obviously they're showing they're more advanced by having a ship so large that can go through various 10 light years or something. So they may have the advantage of being more powerful. So I wouldn't want to play that hand first
and make themselves invisible.
But see, there's an argument. There's an argument. There's an argument if they are so much superior that you really want to kind of take them out immediately. I mean,
well,
think about
it. Okay.
Think about it. It's December 1941. Let's assume that everybody in Pearl Harbor wasn't just asleep or recovering from the parties the night before and had massive hangovers. And there had evidence of that fleet of Japanese warplanes heading over. And why would they be heading over? Are they going to just drop sushi down so we can have an early breakfast? Is it going to be sashimi and wasabi? Is it going to be like canisters of sake?
I'll be ready.
And let's say movie reels of ninjas and samurai, because obviously you're not going to have DVDs at this time in history, but you have movie reels. Is that what you think they're going to be doing? No, they're coming to cause you harm and death and carnage. And so an extraterrestrial race coming from thousands of light years away, which presumably has cloaking devices, because our own stealth planes have that on a limited primitive level. So if they want to be seen, they want to intimidate. If they want to intimidate, they want to conquer. So you get to drop on them. It's kind of like if you see Johnny Ringo coming and you're Doc Holliday, do you let him get the first shot in or do you shoot him first?
I see your point because
But what about
it
if they don't wanna they don't wanna kill us? They just wanna
no, they don't want to kill us because they want to harvest us to eat us later.
Yeah, they want to kill
well,
you later. They want
actually
to
so
they want to fatten you
actually
up.
I don't think they wanna kill you. They're
but
studying you.
well,
We're like
no,
cheaps.
they at the minimum, I think they want us in bondage.
Oh, definitely.
That
Yeah, it's kind of like
And what
it's
about if their food is their energy that you emanate when you're fearful or when
well,
you're
well,
scared, when you are
I,
sad,
that's
or
why you
when you're
kill them first.
overjoyed?
That's
and
why
you
you
know
kill them
what?
But
first. That's kind.
but you
It's like
cannot
when
see
we,
them.
but
You cannot
well,
see
no, but
them.
if we can see them, then I think they want to
But
to intimidate us.
what they want us to do is what they did in the Twilight Zone TV show. They want us to give up all our tanks and military weapons and nuclear powered submarines willingly. They don't want to fight us because they know they could die too.
Yeah,
At this point, they will die
They
too. And
cannot
no,
die.
there will be no winners in this at this point. Because if they could just wipe us out, they would have done it. If they could just
Yeah.
take us, they would have just done it. That means they have mortality. They mean they
right.
have fear of it. So because they
They're
don't know our capabilities either. They're testing.
right.
They're testing us.
What about if they're after your light being, which is your soul?
They can't have it.
Well, but
Well, that's
that's
why you
what
kill
they
them.
are.
That's
That's
why you eliminate them first.
yeah, we don't want her. They're coming for our souls. Hell no. No,
That's worse.
yeah, that's worse. So,
Well, but you don't
and,
see them. You don't that's what they call it, the demons,
no, they
because you
Oh,
don't see them. You
but no.
oh,
don't they
oh,
could be extraterrestrial.
you're going angels and demons on this now. That's
so
even deeper.
so so you know what? To instead of having a small ship with emissaries, two diplomats before they bring this huge ship that's as big as half of our state or city,
Yeah,
they could have just said, "Hey, we're here in peace." But they're doing this big, gigantic. Let me just say it, big ass ship. It's for intimidation. It's for intimidation.
What about
yeah,
all the findings that they said? I was listening to this attorney that they were talking about how the Japanese were trying to get water, the best water in Antarctica, and they were digging in. And when they did it, they got to a point that it was like a metal. So when they went and they dig out, they found a machine, very like a huge, um, it appeared to be a UFO. And immediately the United States took over. How did they find out? They said, well, the United States is in everything. I mean, I mean, everywhere. So now that area, nobody can go in. And that was a long time ago where they said that a lot of the knowledge that we have today of technology came from those findings. So,
Well, I think anything that enters our atmosphere, we could detect it for the most part. And our counterparts, whether they're our friends and enemies in other countries, can do the same.
but if they have high
So,
technology, better
so
than ours, I mean,
well,
how can they be?
but if we find them on our Earth, on our planet, seek by mistake or error or whatever, and not because they introduce themselves, they're here to harm us.
yes.
They want to take us out. They want to take us out. Either whether they want to eat us, put us in slaves, or just straight out kill us.
Or just
They
study you? What about if they're just
they
studying
did
the
that they
evolution of
invaded
the
our that,
humankind?
but they invaded our planet. You can't do that.
But see, what you could do is you just send long distance probes the way we do with our programs. And if you're going to have a manned presence that is invading our atmosphere, and let's just focus upon the Earth, because I mean, if they're invading, like I don't know,
Mars and Jupiter. Why do we care?
I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah.
But here, it's basically, the reason why you have borders, because borders are basically doors, and you don't just barge into somebody's house. If you barge into somebody's house, you should expect to get shot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're asking for
In the
something bad.
modern times, because when back in the days where the land was free, nobody had,
Marshall
they could
talking
go.
about you have a home and someone's entering your home without your permission, you're subject to be killed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
there's no
according to
such
the
thing.
current
There,
laws, yes.
there's no such thing as an undocumented house guest. That's an invader. If I see somebody in
Wow.
my house and they're eating my food, watching my TV, reading my books, and they're not a family member or in-law or a contractor specifically invited in, or they don't have a search warrant, then I assume they're an intruder.
What
And that's
about if
it.
the government is giving them permission?
Well,
They're
that's
gonna
a
And
search
if
still end
warrant.
up
and
dead.
if
They're
and,
gonna still be dead.
yeah, but that's because if you detect them, but if they're not detectable. You
Well, see,
cannot see them and you
You're
cannot
giving
detect
us
them.
a situation.
but I think
Sanders giving us a situation. We're just gonna die.
we're just gonna die.
We're
Well,
just gonna die.
something, if we're
We're
gonna,
just gonna die.
we
It's
might,
just like
that's possible. I mean,
it's like no hope. It's over. Just die.
we
Just
just
get on
better
the
hope
spaceship.
we better
Yeah.
just hope we have Godzilla to help us,
Yeah. Like,
or Superman.
yeah. Call
Um,
I
but
Superman.
tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
but
But
I'm saying if there's some interplanetary armada that is above the surface of the United States of America, and something, there's ways of announcing your presence before you arrive, because you could send some kind of signal to Earth telecommunications, say, "Hey, we're about to pay you a visit." You don't just suddenly appear.
now remember the first order when they appeared on the planet. That means your planet was about to be destroyed.
Basically, yeah,
They didn't come to talk. They just showed up with 1,000 aircraft, spaceships. You're about to die in moments.
because they have the technological equivalent of a telephone. They could actually communicate on all the world's computer systems before making any physical presence. Now, they still could be misrepresenting their intentions. Because who says I am here to invade and kill you? Nobody says that, right? They usually announce that I'm here to help you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They,
maybe we could break bread and learn about each other. Bullshit. Let's
bullshit,
learn.
bullshit. That's total bullshit. I mean,
We want to get to know you.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when the East India Company from Great Britain arrived in India, say, we just want to engage in peaceful trade. And then centuries later, India has an independence movement, right? Nobody says, I am here to colonize you. I'm here to take your women and your minerals and your petroleum and create a stratified society in which you have to ask permission in your own country to use the bathroom. Nobody tells you that's what they're going to do to you.
Oh no.
I mean,
If they are a super intelligence that are way advanced than ours, they're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna come and ask you.
yeah,
They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, being a spiritual or being whatever they're seeking into this earth.
yeah,
It may not be just damage completely or
Yeah.
destroy the human race.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never know.
And I understand Sandra's point of view too. She was saying don't basically pull the trigger prematurely, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
yeah,
will not know anyway. If they're so advanced, they will not be able to, I mean, no equipment from the government or from anybody will be able to detect them if they're superior.
yeah,
So we are just you know,
yeah. And see the
part
decision.
of
yeah,
evolution, part of
Yeah.
the but You know,
Yeah,
those are theories, so we're
yeah,
just talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think we need that there should be some kind of planet that if there's some life detected, I mean, I wouldn't go out of our way to have a blueprint yet, but I would say we wouldn't just be so gullible as to put all our arms, our military capability aside just because they look friendly and they sound friendly. They're helping us
Yeah.
cure diseases like the Twilight Zone episode. And now, and they're extending your life and everyone's at peace. There's no starvation anymore. Those are good things, but you have to ask yourself why. If they're truly that intelligent and advanced, why would they come all these light years, which would take us like 500 years to travel to their planet? Why would they do this without us soliciting them? They would just do it just because we just love you, humans.
Why do scientists take
Bullshit.
rats? Why do scientists take rats, mouse, bunnies, and study them?
Well, but when they study them, they're also like removing body parts and organs and subjecting them to
Yeah,
radiation.
there's a lot of missing people
And
that
yeah,
goes missing,
see,
so who knows?
well, it's like the way I study turkeys, like in late November.
Uh-huh.
Um, which is the heaviest, which is the fattest, which is would be the best to smoke or roast. Um, and you have to assume that a technologically advanced extraterrestrial civilization that exists either within our own galaxy or another one far, far away, to borrow George Lucas line, is probably self-sufficient. And there's no need for us to
That's the
assist them,
hope.
except as a source of what? Slave labor or nutrition, or perhaps
Yeah.
some gladiatorial war games. Because usually, with the exception of Superman, and maybe a meteorite that you could put in vodka and sell it for $200 a bottle, there's usually a mixed bag um, when it comes to outer space. I believe in space travel, but on our terms. And
Yeah.
I think you got to look at the thousands of years of civilizations on this planet: Aztec,
Mm-hmm.
Babylonian, Roman, whatever the Chinese are up to right now, Russia. I mean, how many of them are benevolent, right? I mean, from our perspective, I mean, they consider themselves doing the right thing. Those are inferior people. They should be dominated and they
Well,
should be
yeah.
civilized.
Well, their viewpoint is we're going to give you a quick death. That's our
It'll be,
that's our compassion.
it'll be
We,
merciful.
yeah, Mercer, right in the throat, right there, just carotid arteries, right there. Just it'll be quick, my brother. It will be
And
quick.
then you have those that um, are anything but merciful, like the Nazis and the Japanese during World War II,
Mhm.
and the Italian fascist wannabes that were attempting to impress Hitler, and they believe in torture and suffering. Well, Hamas, for that matter,
Mhm.
and so you have contemporary examples, not to mention um, all the serial killers that are still roaming our own country and other nations. You know, they in fact, it's like Sandra said, they kind of feed on horror and terror and fear and anxiety, you know, and in a psychological sense, if not
Mhm.
one that
A
Right.
truly
succubus
enriches
or
them.
incubus. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because there's people like that.
Yeah.
You. In fact, every day in the newspaper, you got somebody being randomly punched in the face in New York City. Like, in fact, the actor Steve Buscemi, he's just walking down the street, and the previous targets were just women minding their own business, being punched in the face.
Isn't
Um,
that crazy?
yeah, and then you got all these mass shooters, usually young Caucasian men that are given weapons by their parents. I don't know why they keep doing that, but be that as it may, that's what's happening.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, if it's a stranger and they just come unbidden without invitation or warning or a hint, you got to assume the worst. Protect yourself and your family and your world.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do we have to watch Independence Day or War of the Worlds before we get the message?
Yeah, I was thinking about the line that the alien said when the president of the United States asked him, "Well, what do you want?" And the alien hesitated, was like, "For you to die." That
Yeah,
was it. That was it.
that's all we want.
He just wants you to die.
That's all we want. He was just
And
being honest.
yeah, just want you to die. And this is or they already killed like a couple 100,000 people already. So just want you to die. That's all we want.
Yeah, and if in a way it was actually a stupid question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like the beginning of the movie when they just first appeared. They already destroyed several major cities around the world. So,
Yeah.
and then you ask the question, well, what do you want? Well,
Okay. Yeah. Now it's
uh,
clear.
yeah. But at any
All
rate,
right. What's the next
let's go
topic?
on. What do you
Yeah,
think
that was good.
about
That was good. I like
that
that.
was good. Beat the hell out of that one.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Um,
anything else to say.
and so when
Yeah.
That
big
was good.
head creatures and big head creatures in white robes that are 12 feet tall approach, shoot them.
And
Anyway,
even if they look like Smurfs or unicorns, shoot them.
yeah. Like Papa Smurf coming at you, just shoot his ass.
Papa Smurfs.
Papa
Yeah,
Smurf got to
Papa Smurf.
go.
I'm going
So
after that little blue freak.
yeah,
You're
shoot,
not getting
yeah,
you're not getting there. Even if it's Smurfette, you're not getting close to me.
yeah. It's like I want to
'Cause,
give you a
It is
personal
blue.
message.
yeah.
I want to give you a personal message. Well, you're gonna get a firecracker up here, whatever.
Yeah,
But
you're not getting close. You better send an email. You're not getting close to me.
yeah. So let's talk about free speech and what's the craziness, the insaneness that was happening on around the country on all our universities. So what do you think about that? Anybody?
It's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a right to say my point of view. I have
I
a
think you
right.
do. I think you
I
have the
think
right,
you
No.
but
do.
you don't have a right
Yes.
to create encampments and to threaten violence and to actually inflict harm. I think you can say whatever you want within reason, but see, you can't equate like um, these terrorists are doing presently on campuses from Columbia to USC to UCLA um, and throughout the country. You can't equate uh, violent acts and trespassing with speech. And these are the same people that not too long ago considered use of the wrong pronoun to be a microaggression and warranting cancellation and uh, dismissal from employment and expulsion from schools. So they don't want me to be able to speak the equivalent of a Dave Chappelle joke or a skit from Saturday Night Live when it was funny back in the 1970s, but they want to be able to achieve any interventionist outcome that they want in order to intimidate individuals that do not agree with their position. And
Yeah.
and something from the very beginning, I thought that the university presidents and the boards of trustees and the faculty members were cowardly, craven, and not worthy to hold their positions. And you just can't let this terrorism take place. And you know something? You want to do this? You do that in the Middle East. You don't do that in the United States of America. And just like with the extraterrestrials in our earlier segment in this podcast, I don't cotton to any of these individuals. And you know something? If you're some foreigner and you're doing that here, you need to be deported immediately, and all your properties confiscated, and all your money taken by the government. With, in fact, I would even brand you with a capital D on your forehead so you don't come back. So
Maurice.
So,
Yeah, you know,
wow. So, okay.
my opinion
Thank you,
is
Maurice.
I I agree that you know, we have a free speech, and that's the reason that I love this country. I came from El Salvador, which you know, I experienced that, and everything like that started in the university. They try to manipulate the young people to make them believe that what they're doing is correct. And there was a lot of people that died, innocent people in the university. The government went. My sister was in the campus at that time, and they have to run, and she barely escaped because the government came and killed so many people. Now we're not in El Salvador, fortunately. Here in the United States is different. But what I'm thinking is that they are manipulating. They gotta be something going on that they're manipulating these people. I think that yes, I agree with many of them that what is happening is, unfortunately, I will not want as a human being to have my country to be attacked, and many of the young people, elderly, children, babies to be killed. That's horrifying to me. I don't agree with it, but uh, the way that we are going to protest, it should be in a manner that is not, you know, that it doesn't violate somebody else's rule that we were talking about in the universities and anything. But what I went through in my own country was horrible. Seeing people dead on the streets,
yeah,
that is horrible. So
that's
I
appalling.
do agree that it's horrible what's going on in the world right now. But again, who knows, all of these energies that are going through creating chaos around the world for something. So I don't know, but at this point, that's my opinion on it. And whoever is protesting out there, you know, you have the right for freedom of speech, but also you have to be known that there's greater powers that are manipulating all of this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And don't be at risk. Don't put yourself at risk. Don't put your family at risk, yourself, because you're going to be losing career, school, a lot of things. So
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, you
Be smart.
yeah, I agree
right.
with that.
Excellent, both of your point of view. To give it my opinion, I agree with both of you that everyone should have a right to free speech. But from what we could tell on the news, the news coverage around the country, it's just totally inappropriate that what's happened. And they cross the line, they, like you said, by putting encampments, but also attacking the police and attacking other people that don't agree with them. And plus, they're um, uh, seem to be backing people that innocently killed students and residents and children and babies and raped and pillaged unprovoked. It was unprovoked. And that's what they're missing. Like Sandra said, um, you know, these kids, these young adults are being manipulated, and some are being very gullible, and some of them lost their mind apparently, or they never had it. Some of them, where it's okay to provoke and kill innocent people. It was unprovoked. They came in out of parachutes out of the sky, landed, and started killing people, and this was unprovoked. For some reason, these young people and older people that are supporting the stupidity, you know, just don't understand that, or they're or they're rejecting that. It's like what if that happened here? What would you do? People coming out of the sky just shooting you with machine
I
guns
think I think there
and
are people
yeah,
who fully understand what happened on October 7th,
yeah,
2023, but they
yeah,
fully approve of it.
yeah.
And
And they're
and
sick.
now,
The people that approve it, they're sick people.
right. And unfortunately, Hamas, which was the uh, entity which
Mhm.
governs Gaza,
Mhm.
has popular support amongst the Palestinian people. And in fact, you had the regular Hamas terrorists invading by parasails and uh, traversing the barriers that existed between that area of Israel and the Gaza Strip. And you had regular citizens
Mhm.
of the Gaza Strip following, and they were part of the orgy of slaughter, mass rape, torture, burning of babies, um, destruction of homes with people inside their bedrooms and panic rooms, and killing people who are waiting for buses and are taking their early morning walks. And of course, the Nova Music Festival, which was on the front lines. And ironically, many of those individuals in attendance at the festival, musicians and festival goers, were probably liberals that believed in a two-state solution.
Mhm.
And which it seems to me like that's dead in the water.
Yeah,
No
not
pun
gonna
intended.
happen now. So not gonna happen now.
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah.
the thing is, so when invasions accompanied by mass slaughter happen, there will generally be some form of retaliation. And I don't want to keep bringing up World War II again, but I will. Like after Pearl Harbor,
Mhm.
you know, I guess the leadership in Tokyo, including Emperor Hirohito, probably thought, okay, I guess we've got the advantage over the United States now, right?
Mhm.
Fast forward, and you don't even have to watch Oppenheimer to know what eventually happened. And a lot of people are still crying to this day about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But the United States didn't go out of its way to develop an atom bomb. In fact, FDR was promising in between, incarcerating thousands of Japanese Americans, that we didn't really want to fight in Europe. We didn't want to battle in Asia, even though he knew otherwise. But that prompted all that research using mines from Europe, ironically, and countries that were actually um, being conquered by the Germans. And those great mines were coming to the United States. And the consequences of sneak attacks and ambushes and other heinous acts usually result in a massive response. And it's not going to be tit for tat, because that's not going to be a deterrent. You got to make it so onerous.
Very painful.
You have to. I mean, because people say, "Oh no, look at all the people." Those people, they were dancing in the streets in support of Hamas uh, after the events of October 7th. They were celebrating their. These are the same people that had parties after the World Trade Center was toppled in New York City, after the Pentagon was mostly demolished, after 3,000 people on the American mainland were murdered on 9/11. Those are the same people
Yeah.
dancing and laughing and gloating and saying, "Hell to the great Satan."
Mhm.
These are not the innocent people that are making hummus and baklava and good Mediterranean food.
Yeah, just like the 9/11 and now, the question is to the terrorists, how did it work out for you?
Yeah, I mean,
How did it work out for you? Is a whole lot of them dead? Osama bin Laden. How did it work out for him?
yeah.
And how did it work out for the little terrorist generals when they got caught? They was crying like little babies when they were being killed. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny. They don't have the same toughness when they're about to die.
No, because
And it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
they don't. They don't.
and
And yeah,
crying like little babies. Yeah, you're about to die. We're getting you back. We're getting you back.
yeah, and you know something? I wish it were different. I actually I would like to live in a peaceful world. I
Yeah.
mean, where
But yeah.
where you could where men, women, children, babies, they could just walk the street
Yeah.
without being molested
So
or
anybody that
assaulted.
yeah, so anybody think that's okay, you're sick. You're sick
Yeah,
and
we don't, and we
evil.
don't want you here. We don't want
Absolutely
you.
evil.
We don't want
Absolutely
you here.
evil. You
And you
believe it's
know,
okay to attack innocent people unprovoked. I can see if they were provoked, then hey, yeah, I'm with you. But you weren't. And no, and the
well,
people that you attacked wasn't even the military, the people were causing you pain, possibly. These were innocent people
yeah,
that had nothing to do with government and politics. Nothing to
and
do
the,
with that.
and even if they did, it wasn't um aggressive onslaught
Yeah.
politics where um arguably almost everything can be political in nature, and Clausewitz said that war is a continuation of politics by other means. But there's certain movements, because like in the charter for Hamas, it basically states, paraphrasing the Arabic, that they want to annihilate all the Jews. I mean, you can't have a two-state solution with people like that. They want all you dead.
Mm.
It's kind of like
Right.
having some kind of, agreement if you're black with the Ku Klux Klan.
Mhm.
Um, there's no middle ground with them. They want you dead, and they
Yeah.
want you to die.
Yeah,
I mean
just
that.
like in Independence Day with the movie, it says we just want you to die. That's all we want.
So, and
That's all you want? Yeah,
I guess you don't have to accept it, but if you don't, you're still dead.
yeah,
We don't accept that. Well, okay.
yeah.
I mean,
So
you're doomed then, because
yeah.
you're not even going to bother to defend yourself. You know. So
Okay.
uh,
Well, let's wrap
anyway.
this up. Let's wrap this up. Um,
Oh, I just want to say that the movie that
mhm.
we went to see earlier today was Back to Black,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
Amy
the
Winehouse. Amy
is
Winehouse. I love
exactly.
that song. Yeah. She's one of my
Yeah.
favorite was one of my favorite artists. Um, unfortunately, yeah. God, yeah, it's unfortunate. Gone at 27. Rest in peace. So, uh, yeah, I think I want to see that. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been.
she was ably performed by Marissa Abela, um, who in some ways actually reminds me of Gloria Estefan,
Oh, okay.
and
The
I thought
Miami
it was
Sound
well done.
Machine. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay,
A- And
that's good.
I would actually recommend that people see Back to Black currently in theaters, uh, with the documentary called Amy, which was released in 2015, approximately 4 years after her untimely passing from alcohol poisoning on July 23rd, 2011. Um, Not too long after winning 5 Grammys.
I
And
remember when I was watching the Grammys, the last Grammys, that pertained to her and her group, and she was banned from coming to the United States because of her situation over there. She didn't get her visa because of her, apparently, I guess, the behavior and other legal issues she had over in Britain.
yeah,
The United States wouldn't allow her to attend the Grammy Award, so she attended by satellite.
yeah. In fact, she was, assuming the movie depicted this accurately, was performing at the time, and she had like a television on the stage, and took breaks between songs to watch the awards show. And the documentary portrayed her father as a villain in the same sense as Britney Spears' dad.
Britney Spears, yeah.
Yeah, but this movie that we saw this afternoon actually shows him as someone who actually had her best interests at heart, was an inspiration, and a jazz singer in his own right, along with being a cab driver and um, someone who put up windows and did other work.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting. It seems that the truth is much more complicated and nuanced than the documentary that was released several years ago portrayed.
Well, you know what? When you could be considered a villain when you tell your child or tell other people no, you're a villain. Yeah, he didn't let me get what I wanted, and what you wanted would be detrimental to your health. I mean, or situation, and so yeah, it's easy to paint a parent as a something bad.
But it seemed like there are individuals that may have had an agenda, and who knows what the truth was. I'm not
Yeah, who
claiming
knows?
what it is, but in
Yeah.
in this movie, it wasn't like he was just enabling her. In fact, he drove her to a rehab center,
Hmm.
and he was adamantly opposed to drug use,
Right.
and he was very much involved with her life, even though he had been separated from her mother for years and had his own life and girlfriend. But um, nobody seemed to be attempting to alienate um, her from the other parent or from other members of the families. In
Hmm.
fact, Amy Winehouse was Jewish, and her great 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 grandfather had immigrated to the United Kingdom from Minsk, Belarus, in the 1890s when it was part of the Tsarist Russian Empire.
Hmm.
And she was influenced by mostly Black artists like
Hmm.
Sarah Vaughan, Dinah Washington,
Hmm.
uh, Lauryn Hill, Minnie Riperton, um, uh, uh, Ella Fitzgerald, and her grandmother, Cynthia, was a singer,
Hmm.
and many of her paternal uncles were jazz musicians, and she was on the National Youth Jazz Orchestra and a lead singer for that, and so she was very talented,
Oh yeah.
and I was nurtured. In fact, she even had a rap group for a brief period of time when she was younger.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, too
um,
bad she died early. Man, she had a lot of more music in her. Man.
I think so.
And I loved her band too, man. They were good. They were good.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
So anyway,
Yeah,
so anyway, well, let's wrap this up. Well, thank you for watching us again. Please subscribe and please share our content video. And we're of course on YouTube. Please do that. And we're also on Apple and Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. Please, Deezer, we're on several platforms there, but go to Apple, iHeart, and Spotify as well, where you can listen to us in the car or wherever you are. And so we appreciate you, and watch out and hit the notification where you can be notified when we have a new episode. So please take care of yourselves, live long
and
and prosper.
happy belated Armed Forces Day. And book recommendation is Tom Lake by Ann Patchett,
Okay.
which is a very interesting and heartwarming novel.
Okay. Well, then, it's been another exciting episode on Raising the Cane.
Woo!
Until next time, my friends. Until next time.
Until we see you, wherever you are,
Again, wherever you are.
using our surveillance systems.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.